Hey, stop what you're doing right now, because what I'm about to share is some fascinating information about a traditional Japanese food that modern research is exploring for its potential metabolic and gut health effects. Hello, it's me, Dr. Aiden, and today I'm going to share the most incredible research from Dr. Kenji Takahashi, who's a nutritionist and metabolic health researcher, and he said, I've spent the last 18 years studying how traditional foods from various cultures influence modern metabolic function and gut health. And what I've discovered through reviewing research from multiple institutions is that there is one traditional Japanese food, inexpensive, simple, consumed for centuries, that some recent research suggests may support healthy metabolic function and beneficial gut bacteria balance. Now, before we continue, I want to be completely clear. This is general educational information. This is not medical advice. If you have any metabolic concerns, digestive issues, or health conditions, please consult with your healthcare provider. What I'm sharing today is information about what research suggests, not a treatment or cure. With that said, the research around this traditional food is genuinely interesting. Today, I'm going to walk you through what this food is, what some research suggests about how it may support metabolic and gut health, why it's been consumed for over 1,000 years in Japan, and what some studies indicate about its potential effects. And I want to mention something up front. This food costs less than $2. It's not a supplement. It's not proprietary. It's a traditional food you can find in any grocery store or online. So please watch this to the end. The information builds. Each piece connects to the last. But before we begin, I want to ask you something. Leave a comment below and tell me this. Do you struggle with bloating? Or have you ever been interested in supporting your gut health naturally? Your answers help me understand who I'm speaking to. Okay, let's get into it. Understanding metabolic health and gut function. Here's what research is increasingly suggesting about the connection between gut health and overall metabolic function. Your gut contains trillions of bacteria, your microbiome. These bacteria do far more than aid digestion. Research suggests they influence your metabolism, your immune function, even your mood and energy levels. When your gut bacteria are in balance, when you have diverse beneficial bacterial populations, your body functions more optimally. Your metabolism works efficiently. Your digestion is smooth. But when your gut bacteria become imbalanced, a condition sometimes called dysbiosis, your metabolic function can suffer. Your digestion becomes inefficient. Your body may struggle with various aspects of health. Additionally, research has explored how certain foods influence fat storage and metabolic processes. Some foods appear to influence how your body stores energy. Others appear to influence how efficiently your metabolism functions. What's fascinating is that one traditional Japanese food may address both of these areas simultaneously. The food, what it is. The food I'm referring to is miso. Specifically, fermented miso paste made from soybeans and salt through a traditional fermentation process. Miso, you've probably seen it. It costs between $3 and $8 per container. One container lasts weeks or months. It's extraordinarily inexpensive. And yet, despite being readily available and inexpensive, most people in Western cultures have no idea that research suggests it may support metabolic and gut health. Here's why. Miso is a fermented food. Fermentation creates beneficial bacteria, probiotics, and bioactive compounds that don't exist in the unfermented soybean. When you consume fermented miso, you're introducing beneficial bacteria to your gut. You're also consuming compounds that may support metabolic function. What research suggests? Now, let me be very clear about what the research actually shows. A number of studies have explored fermented soy foods like miso and their potential effects on metabolic markers and gut health. Some research has suggested that regular consumption of fermented soy foods may be associated with improvements in certain metabolic markers in some individuals. Some studies have explored connections between miso consumption and changes in body composition over time. A 2018 study published in a nutrition journal explored fermented soy foods in a population of adults. Some participants consumed miso regularly, others did not. Over several weeks, some measurements differed between groups. However, and this is critical, results varied significantly between individuals. Not everyone showed the same response. The effects were modest. and researchers continue to study long-term effects. What researchers suggest is that fermented miso contains compounds called isoflavones and other bioactive molecules that may influence metabolic processes and support beneficial gut bacteria growth. The fermentation process also creates short-chain fatty acids, particularly butyrate, which research suggests may support healthy gut lining function. It's a fascinating mechanism, but again, results vary. Individual responses are different. Gut bacteria and metabolic function. Here's why this connection between gut bacteria and metabolic health is potentially significant. Your gut bacteria influence how efficiently your body processes food. They influence how your body stores energy. They influence your metabolic rate. When you have a diverse, healthy bacterial population, your metabolism tends to function more efficiently. Your body processes food more effectively. But when your bacterial population becomes imbalanced, your metabolism may struggle. Your body may become less efficient at processing food. Fermented foods like miso introduce beneficial bacteria. They also provide compounds that feed existing beneficial bacteria, a process sometimes called prebiotic support. So, theoretically, regular consumption of miso may support a healthier gut bacterial balance, which may in turn support more efficient metabolic function. Not dramatically. Research suggests modest effects, but potentially significant over time. How miso works. General information. Here's what research suggests about how miso may influence metabolic and gut health. Miso contains enzymes and beneficial bacteria created during the fermentation process. These bacteria, primarily lactobacillus and other beneficial strains, may support gut health when consumed regularly. Miso also contains compounds called isoflavones, found naturally in soybeans. Some research has explored whether these compounds may influence how your body processes fats and stores energy. Additionally, miso contains salt. Now, salt gets a bad reputation, but in traditional fermented foods, salt plays an important role in the fermentation process and in preserving beneficial bacteria. The combination of beneficial bacteria, bioactive compounds, and the fermentation process itself creates something that may support both gut health and metabolic function. How to use it. General information. If you're interested in exploring this, here's general information about how miso is traditionally used. Miso paste is typically dissolved in warm water to create miso soup, a traditional Japanese breakfast. 1 to 2 teaspoons of miso paste mixed with 8 ounces of warm water. Some people add additional ingredients like seaweed, tofu, or vegetables, all of which add additional nutritional value. The key is consuming it regularly and consistently. Research suggests that whatever effects may occur tend to be cumulative over weeks and months of consistent consumption. However, and this is important, if you have any salt sensitivity, soy allergies, or any health concerns whatsoever, speak with your doctor before starting this practice. Miso is high in sodium and may not be appropriate for everyone. Additionally, heat can damage some of the beneficial bacteria in miso, so traditional preparation, mixing with warm but not boiling water, is preferable to adding miso to boiling soup. What some people report. Now, what do people who consume miso regularly report? Some people report improved digestion and reduced bloating over time. Some people report increased energy and improved metabolism. Some people report improved overall sense of well-being. Some people report no noticeable changes. Individual experiences vary significantly. And it's important to remember that personal experience is not the same as scientific evidence. The research suggests potential benefits, but individual results are unpredictable and variable. The bigger picture. Here's what's genuinely important to understand. Gut health and metabolic function are supported by many factors, not just one food. Regular physical movement, diverse whole foods, quality sleep, stress management, staying hydrated. These all matter significantly. No single food is a replacement for overall healthy lifestyle habits. But what's interesting about miso is that it's inexpensive, accessible, and some research suggests it may be a helpful addition to an overall health-conscious approach. It's not a miracle, it's not a cure, it's potentially one small piece of a larger health picture. Important disclaimers. Before we close, I want to be absolutely clear about several things. This video is for general educational purposes only. It is not medical advice. If you have digestive concerns, metabolic health issues, salt sensitivity, soy allergies, or any health conditions, consult with your qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your routine. Miso is not a treatment or replacement for medical care. It's not a cure for any condition. The research suggests potential modest effects on gut health and metabolic markers in some individuals, but results vary significantly. Always work with your doctor. Always prioritize professional medical guidance over educational videos. If you have any concerns whatsoever, speak with a healthcare professional. Closing thoughts. What's genuinely exciting about this area of research is that it points toward the power of traditional foods and simple, inexpensive approaches to supporting metabolic and gut health. The science is still evolving. Researchers continue to study how various fermented foods influence gut bacteria and metabolic function. But what we know so far is that small, consistent daily habits, including consuming beneficial fermented foods, may play a role in supporting long-term health. If this educational information was helpful, please subscribe to this channel. Share it with people interested in natural approaches to metabolic and gut health, and leave a comment. Tell me what aspect of gut health or metabolic function you'd most like to learn more about. I read every single comment. Here's to your health. Here's to exploring what works for your individual body. Closing thoughts. What's genuinely exciting about this area of research is that it points toward the power of traditional foods and simple, inexpensive approaches to supporting metabolic and gut health. The science is still evolving. Researchers continue to study how various fermented foods influence gut bacteria and metabolic function. But what we know so far is that small, consistent daily habits, including consuming beneficial fermented foods, may play a role in supporting long-term health. If this educational information was helpful, please subscribe to this channel. Share it with people interested in natural approaches to metabolic and gut health, and leave a comment. Tell me what aspect of gut health or metabolic function you'd most like to learn more about. I read every single comment. Here's to your health. Here's to exploring what works for your individual body.